I wanted to chat with you about dating overseas, the challenges it entails, and the benefits that you can reap when dating overseas. Now, this is a subject that I've personally embraced for a very long time in my life, and I wanted to pass on some vital information that I have learned, some of the mistakes I've made, some of the things I did right, and of course, my experiences. In case you are a new digital nomad or a new expat, but even if you're somebody with some experience overseas, things go wrong, things go right, and the question is, what is the lesson? What can we learn when dating somebody from a different culture? Because as we know, it just isn't the same at all. It is very different. Dating someone from a different culture involves a lot of skills. It really involves you being willing, your willingness to really dive into a new culture and accept people for who they are and listen to people, and also have this curiosity that you need in order to succeed when dating overseas. And obviously one of the main problems that a lot of expats and digital nomads come across when they're dating someone from a different culture is that they face cultural differences, language barrier. And how do you overcome that? And the easiest way for me to overcome it was by simply, embracing it, like showing interest in the culture. Like when I was dating in Malaysia, I was asking my Malaysian ex-girlfriend, she was Chinese Malaysian, I was asking her, just tell me more about your culture. Educate me, please. I want to know more about your culture. Show me the temples, what are the routines, what is important to your family, to be able to accept a foreigner into the family. I was really talking to her like that because I didn't want to be perceived as a slob, as somebody, that expects things to be just as they are at home, because we know it isn't like that. I started to learn that, they are not very confrontational in many ways, like they don't really, tell you in the face that, your hair doesn't look good or you're not happy with this. They have a different way of saying it. They have a very different way of saying it. Maybe they don't say anything, and you have to pick up on these things, but when you're dating a woman overseas, they want to be treated like a princess, most women. If not, you're dating a man, I'm sorry. If you're dating a woman that thinks analytical, that does not care about the little things, like when you buy her flowers, when you take her out for a nice dinner, when you take her parents out, or how you treat her mother, if she doesn't care about that, then something's broken there anyway. But you really need to pay attention to that. And that's actually universal. Whether you're dating in the West or whether you're dating in Vietnam or in Mexico, you have to respect your host country, and you have to respect the host country's culture. It's so important. If you don't like the culture, then go back home or go somewhere else. If you can't adjust, if you can't accept the good and the bad sides, then why are you even here? And that's what I told myself. If I'm complaining about this all the time, maybe this is not the right country for me. Maybe I should be moving on to find a place that is more suitable for my demands. This is just one of the things that I learned. It's just the whole cultural embracement, learning about the culture, embracing the culture. That's one of the things that I learned. And once I started to do better at this, once I had this genuine interest, I was doing a lot better at dating. I was interested in the food, I was interested in places to visit, and I was also interested in like rituals that they do, which are very different than what we do back home. But anyway, that made a big difference, going to the temples, doing these little things. Women appreciate that. And if you're with her family, I lived with my Malaysian's ex-family. If you do that, they appreciate you because you're foreigner, you're putting in the work. The monetary expectations are very different than what they were back home for me, because I'm not from a poor country, and if you're from a Western country, then chances are it is not going to be the same as it is in Asia, because in Asia, women have monetary expectations. They come from a poor background in many cases, not in all cases. They want to marry a foreigner to get an upgrade. And I'm not saying this in a mean, I'm not saying this in a pushy, in a bully way, not at all. I'm just saying that they want to improve themselves, They want to have maybe mixed children, maybe they want to be perceived as special in their inner circle, they want an exotic boyfriend, and maybe they want the upgrade, or maybe they want to move out of their country. Whatever it is, they want something out of you that they cannot get from a local person. That's what you need to understand. And I'm saying this because when you understand this, you will also understand how valuable you are in their eyes. This is something that you can use to your advantage in a good way. Like for her, it's going to be much more difficult to find a decent guy in her country because, you know, people are less educated, they have worse jobs, they make less money, you know, they're shorter. And there are some other specific details that I don't want to mention, but with you, right, an Asian girl or a Latin girl is just going to get a better deal when dating a foreigner than they could get when dating a local person in many cases. There are exceptions. There are richer neighborhoods, there are richer cities, you know, but in general, like 95+% of the time, it is true. This is something that you can and should use to your advantage because you are a hot commodity in the foreign country. And now with countries closing tourist visas, you know, discontinuing tourist visas or offering very limited tourist visas, how many people are actually able to live in a country for a long period of time? You know, unless they have some kind of work permit, unless they're a resident, unless, you know, they have a company, you know, something, you know, they are not going to live in the country. So there's supply. You know, before there used to be more supply of foreigners, now there's very little supply. And there is more demand because there's so many women that want to be together with a foreigner. And that is something that will play in your favor 100% right now. Very much so. You can play this out, you know, you should use this to your advantage because you also want to find the best possible match, right? You don't want to be with a girl that's ugly. You don't want to be with a girl that is just after your money, just wants to get married so you can bring her to another country because it sucks being used, right? And it's false love. It's not real love. You want to find a girl that's happy with where she is in life and just add from there, you know? I'm not saying that you shouldn't go out there and find a girl, you know, that wants to live in your country if that's what you want to. If you both have the same motives, both have the same aspirations, then it's totally fine to do that. But if you want to live with her in her country and she is not happy living in her country because she wants to get out there, she wants to live in a foreign country, she wants to bring her family there, and she wants to get a foreign passport so she has it easier when traveling abroad, if that's the case, then you got to reconsider because it's not in alignment with your motives, with your goals. If that's what she wants, but it's not what you want, then it's probably not a good deal. You better leave it. Leave it early than too late because there's more than enough supply. And one of the mistakes that I've made in the past was to stick around for too long. And I'm sure many guys have made that mistake, you know. That is something we need to avoid. That is something we need to learn from. And like I said, the supply versus demand ratio always plays in your favor when dating in Latin America or Southeast Asia. What do you think about dating women overseas? What are some crucial aspects? Leave a comment below and let us know. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. I'm uploading new videos on digital nomad locations, travel updates, visas, crypto advice, and business advice several times a week right now. I highly recommend that you grab a free copy of my ebook Nomad Elite, the Insider's Guide to Retaining a Life of Freedom. All you need to do is click on the link below the video. And if you got some more time left, check out these videos. Thank you for watching.